Hey everybody, hello and come on in and welcome. If you haven't seen me for a little while, I would love for you to come visit me. This is Erin Taylor Young doing the 52-week Memory Verse Challenge. And you can find me, Erin Taylor Young, at my website, erintayloryoung.com. I'm an author, a speaker, a publisher. I do lots of different things. I have a podcast called writefromthedeep.com. And Jake the Snake. Okay, hi. Good to see you. Anyone else that wants to come in, join. Hi. I think I know you. Open Mouth Poetry. Brandon, maybe. It's good to have you guys here. So I was just saying I do a podcast too. Yes. Nice to see you. I'm doing well. It's been a rough week. I lost my dog last week and it was horrible. It was just horrible. So I'm talking about this verse, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. It was hard, and it still is super hard, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to flip this around. Okay, good. All right, so this verse. Hi, I'm glad people are joining. Come on in. We're talking about the Bible. Yay, my favorite thing. All right, so, yep, sorry to hear about that. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about with this verse, considering it pure joy, James is writing to people who are struggling. These guys are dealing with persecution all the time. And one of the things that he's not saying when he says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, he is not saying, don't worry, be happy. That's the one thing that you should not hear out of this verse at all. He's saying that there is he's talking about a deeper foundational type of contentment. And when he's talking about pure joy, he's not saying nothing but joy or exclusivity. That's not what this word is. When you go back, I've been reading some commentaries about this, and when you go back to what the Greek language is talking about, it's talking about more of an unalloyed joy. So it's not you can't be anything but happy. It's that this contentment that you're going to get, this joy that you're going to get is a deeper, pure type of a joy. And so it's okay to be saddened by difficulties and by hardships. And let me tell you, these guys that James was writing to, this group of people, they're suffering all kinds of hardships. Some of them were just ordinary world hardships, you know, the bereavement, the loneliness, the grief, the difficulties. But a lot of these people have been exiled and they've been transplanted and they're trying to make a new start. Yeah, it's true. They've been trying to make a new start. And one of the things that was happening was that these followers of Christ, these Christians, were being persecuted in terms of payment a lot. So they would go and do their job and then they wouldn't get paid. So it was, you know, like, I think one of the things was customary to pay people like at the end of the day for the day. And so they're withholding their wages. They're doing all kinds of things, you know, maybe not participating or shopping where they are trying to sell stuff. They're doing all these things and they're making it harder for them. So they're facing financial difficulties. They were facing poverty, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and so when we're all going through these kinds of hardships, the last thing we want to hear in our grief and in our loneliness and in our despair, the very last thing is, hey, you know, consider it pure joy. Okay, so I understand that, and James knew that too. He was no stranger to hardships, but he does want this teaching, this foundation to be laid for people because we're going to suffer. The thing is that we don't live in this world without suffering and without sorrow. So James wants to make sure that we have this teaching. So what's going on? He's saying, why should we consider it joy? If you go on to the next verse, it says, let me read it to you, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So James is trying to let people know that the reason you're going through this, at least one of the reasons, and one of the reasons why we can hang on to contentment in the midst of this, is that this is going to help us endure. It's going to help us develop perseverance. And when we do that, we become, hearts for sure, because this is the goal of our faith, is to get this spiritual maturity, spiritual integrity. That's what we're heading for. And one of the ways this works, why do trials help us gain perseverance, endurance, and spiritual integrity, is because they help us know what we value. There was a famous missionary, Jim Elliot, and he was martyred. And one of the things he said was, "He is no fool who gives up what he can't keep to gain what he cannot lose." That's exactly the spirit here. That's exactly the maturity that God is wanting from us. He wants us to not hang on to things here, but to know what we value most of all. And God wants to be that thing. God wants to be the thing that we value above everything else. So, and part of the reason is because nothing else satisfies us like God. When other things satisfy us more than God, that's where we head for idolatry. God wants to be the satisfying thing in our life, the thing that we cling to. And like I said again, it's because we're not meant for this world. He doesn't want us clinging to this world that's just a shadow of things to come. He wants us clinging to Him. So that's where part of our joy and contentment comes from. We learn what we value. Let me flip this around and we'll talk about that. We'll just go over the verse one more time. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. That's James 1 and 2. All right, that's it, everybody. Hang on to that.